All right, so we have some cat butts here. We have a cat again. I mean, little surprise. She's always welcome. She's sniffing you, everyone. Hold still. Careful, she can see movement and, well, not necessarily color. But, so, we have a cat, and now we're going to make our 4th Humblewood character to make a Humblewood party. We've used almost all the options available to us in, yeah, she's just saying hi. We've used almost all the options available to us in the Humblewood setting. And so for this character, it's going to be primarily a player's handbook-based character. The exception to this is if we have to dip into the DMG because we get an Oathbreaker Paladin. Or if we... let's see. Oh, our race is obviously going to be a Humblewood race. I actually have a mental illness that affects my language and has since you were a kid, so learning languages was interesting. Well, I'm glad then that you can enjoy the humor that my language skills have been able to confer through this channel. Vulpin in honor of Kitty. Well, we might randomly roll a Vulpin. I won't repeat the races that we've already rolled, and I also won't repeat a class that we've already made. So, clerics, bards, and fighters are off the table. I know O'Sheeps is gunning for a monk, and so we'll see if we get a monk. It'll be a 1 in 9 chance. Thank you. Yeah. She was licking my arm. That was so nice of you. Yeah? Okay. You want to generate some random numbers, Nisa? Yeah, you do. Oh, she's purring. I can feel the rumble in her throat. Yes, remove hair from me, human. Alright, let's reset our random roll generator here. Yeah, she is being super showy. Alright, so, do we have a female character, a male character, or a multi-class, and we'll roll again. We rolled a 69. We have a male character. And the race is... Hey, Lamau. Noise. We rolled a 9. A 9 was the raccoon person from last time. So I'm going to re-roll this. We rolled an 8. Which one is an 8? A Jerbeen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have a Jerbeen. That made my night. Yeah, I rolled a natural 69, everyone. Ooh, you got some scruff. Ooh, girl, you got scruff? Possibly a monk. So we have a male Jerbeen. Who is of the alignment 28. We have another neutral good. We have another neutral good character. We're going to roll this character at level 12, and I'm going to now roll a percentile to find out if we take any feats. Nope, on a 44, it's au natural. Alright, so Jerbeens are SMOL small. We are neutral good. We're going to be level 12. Now, our background, we're going to generate an 18-sided die to represent all of the background options that are present in the player's handbook. See, I don't have any of the other backgrounds tagged. Like, if we added Tomb of Annihilation, boom, it would go to 20, because there is an anthropologist and an archaeologist. So we take that away. We come over here, and we generate an 18-sided die. Hi, ma'am. Thank you. Number 9. Yep. Okay. Yep. That's delightful. Are you leaving? All right. Bye. Hey, 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 hey. I was being nice. You got to be nice too. I'm looking at you. Smack him some more. Put him in line. Assert your dominance. There we go. Now the camera's fixed too. Boop, 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 boop. There we are. All right. So 9 is a guild artisan, or specifically a guild merchant. So this works out super well because I think we get a wagon as a part of this. So we are a guild merchant specifically. And what type of guild merchant are we? Number 11, and we'll find out what that is. Guild merchant number 11. And of course, while we're doing this, we're going to get some extra numbers. 2 personality traits, 6 and 2, then an ideal bond and flaw, 314. 6, 2, 314. 6, 2, 314. Fallon, you briefly visit. Fallon, while you're here, I'm going to hook you, and I'm going to say that I didn't have time to refresh the capsules, and so we're not back up to 50, so any pulls that you decide to make are going to be potent, since the Silver Goblin and the big grand prize $40 miniature giveaway is still in there too, along with some other $10 plus capsules. Yes, O'Sheeps. Fallon, it is my nature. All right, so we have our background. Now for our class, our class and subclass. It is now time to whip out this big golden D12. We're going to roll it and find out. Now, if we get, remember, a bard, a cleric, or a fighter, we're going to re-roll. So the number your sheeps, what you're hoping for is a number 6. Two, a bard, which is a re-roll. Hey, stop it. Hey. I'm thumping on a desk. I'm not scratching a chair. Please, ma'am. Dubba 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 da, and ba-da! 11. We have a warlock. We have a warlock. The warlock we have is, we rolled 2, a fiend warlock. Ma'am, that is a prize goblin. You cannot have those. Just because the paint is non-toxic doesn't mean you can eat it. And the pact that we're taking from our patron is right here, D3. We rolled another 2, a chain pact, which means that we get a little buddy. We can summon a familiar to do some stuff. Hey, Grimvex, welcome. Also, I wanted to ask you guys something real quick. Gonna take on a little art project and wanted to ask y'all's opinion of some of the most iconic D&D monsters. I've got Displacer Beast, Beholder, and Tarask in mind so far. I mean, dragons. That's an obvious answer. Bullets, Illithids. There's so many. I mean, even goblins and kobolds. Especially the reptile kobolds are more of a unique D&D thing. So I guess, Fallon, is there a particular... Are you looking for humanoid? Are you looking for, like, big scary monsters? Are you looking for undead? Oozes, gobos, yeah. Yeah, kobolds are very popular. Hey, Nyx Cluster, thank you for the host earlier. Mousy Fiend Warlock with a little buddy, getting weird. Well, we're going to find out where this goes. You had a brainwave of an idea, the next curse mark I was going to make in your campaign. Hey, lay it on me here. Umber Hulks are pretty cool, too. All right, Fallon, you know what to do, all right? And stop. A red lid. We pop the top. And what is inside but... Aha. This is the female Air Genasi Rogue. The second one. Of course, this can be painted to look like a human, an elf, whatever you want, really. The label on the box says Air Genasi, but it doesn't mean you have to paint her blue or green or whatever. Oh, Sheep's got the other one. When you pulled the 4 capsules, you ended up getting the other female Air Genasi Rogue. That was the one that was getting ready to whip a dagger and had the bow out. And hey, Refry, welcome. The mark isn't going to bind the party together. Instead, what's going to do is slowly start to attack each member's psyche. Subtle things at first. Old headache. So I think that would be a good way to, in the darkness, bind them. Nyx Cluster. If you're looking for inspiration along those lines, Final Fantasy 13, the first one in that trilogy, has something kind of like that going on with the characters. And now this is controversial. I did not mind at all. I don't mind 13. I liked it. I liked the character development. I thought it was fun. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can watch a playthrough of it, or you could probably find, like, the cinematics. You could follow along pretty well with the cinematics. Or if you read a synopsis of the story, yeah, it's there. Yep, have a great stream. Thank you earlier for stopping by, Nyx Cluster. Sorry I was on break. The first was okay. After that, The first what, Big Sam? All right, so what other details? We need to know, how old is this character? Let's roll a percentile. We rolled 53, so we have another adult. So we're looking for an adult Jerbeen. And we'll also get the height and weight after we go back to the Humblewood supplement. Height and weight, let's see, for a Jerbeen. We start at 2'4" and we add 2d4 inches. So we're adding 6 inches, so we are 2'10". So we're effectively like the size of a toddler. Which, by the way, this is as big as kobolds are. If any of you have a party rolling around murdering kobolds, you can, tell them that you're literally killing babies. And make them feel really guilty, except they're not, because people just like picking off kobolds and goblins and such. So you can tell them that, but they might be like, oh, so I guess we'll punt them instead. What can you do? Because they're going to do the same thing to halflings and gnomes. And poor Lala Fells in Final Fantasy XIV. I'm biased, though. Yet at the same time, people like short stacks. They like gobos. They like kobolds. I mean, if y'all have seen any fan art, especially in that short stack sense, something else is going on there. All right, so we have that. Now we're gonna roll a D2 and add that to 20 pounds. So we have a 26 pound, 2'10" Jerbeen warlock. Goblins get what's coming to them, says Fallon. Depending on the person, they're absolutely going to agree with you. But they're going to do so as they're kind of drooling, going... The Lalas deserve it. 4/5 of the main plot arcs are because a Lala was a bad person. I mean, look. I'm just a Lala, so I have to defend our people. And run a Lala's only link shell. And we do kick people out if they Fantasia. We'll welcome them back if they make the correct choice in return. But you can't be in the link shell if you're not a Lala. Mazamune, did I see your post on the Discord? Oh yes, about the game stores. I did, yes. I'm sorry I didn't get to it. Today has been BANANAS. Like, I got home shortly before broadcasting, and now I'm live. And I've just been hither and thither and yonder as well. Lalafell is a race from Final Fantasy XIV. And my goodness, my good golly gracious. Hey, Lamau, look at that. Verbane and Nerdalopedia is here. You know, I was wearing your all shirt on Tuesday for the Tuesday game. I don't have a spell for this shirt. I was wearing that on camera. Raid time. Hell, and Smunchy Games is here too. Hey. Welcome, everyone. For all of you, for everyone here, please show some emote love to Nerdalopedia et al. Who've come a raidin', as we're making our final Humblewood character. Yes, all of the emotes. Give them to me. We're making a Jerbeen. What is a Jerbeen, you ask? A Jerbeen is like a kangaroo mouse or a gerbil. In fact, I need to see how old they get, so you're going to see a picture of a Jerbeen right about... Well, there's one. And here is like a swashbuckling Jerbeen. We've made a raccoon character, a hedgehog character, and a crow character for the party. And then tomorrow night, we're going to make a Humblewood adventure in our workshop. So here's our Jerbeen, and... So, let's see. Jerbeens reach maturity around 5 years old, and they're the shortest live. They live to about 40. So, as an adult... So if young adult is from 5, probably give it, so we'll say from like, 15 plus a D6. Normally on our character sheet here, all the other races are programmed in here, and they have all the height and weight modifiers and the age ranges all built in. So we're just having to kind of do this on the fly. So here's our random number generator, because we are the one Twitch channel that absolutely loves it. 5. So we're a 20-year-old Jerbeen. That was... I'm going to have to clean that up. That was a somewhat successful acrobatics check. The cats have been ever present this stream. We're 2'10", 26 pounds. We're a Fiend chain warlock who's neutral good and is traveling with a College of the Road bard, a community domain cleric hedgehog. She's the raccoon, by the way, and a scofflaw fighter crow, or a corvum is what they're called. Humblewood is a lot of fun. In our VODs, we went through all the player options on Wednesday. It's not super heavy. Like, it's not going to take you a ton of time. I mean, if we come over here, you know, here's the contents. All the crunch is really just right here, from 10 to about 50. This is all fluff, because it's map stuff and it's the religions. And then everything else is the adventure that's included. It's a level 1 to 5. Then there's an appendix that has some other stuff too. Derek Raid, oh my goodness. Everyone's pouring into the Maddie Morgs show here. Please, everyone, spam your emotes. And welcome Macabre Derek, who was hosting Drawing on the Macabre. Derek, what were you drawing? Also... I do want to ask Nerdlepedia, what all were you broadcasting tonight? And for Nerdlepedia, you and Derek are certainly welcome to share links to your streams and to your Discords, if you have that or any other social media. Yuns are definitely friends of the show, and I want to make sure that I can give you a megaphone for the things that you do as well. Hey, Shukan, welcome. It's a macabre raid. Good night out there, whatever you are. Shukan, you just woke up. Well, wipe the sleep out of your eyes. We're making a Jerbeen character. If you ever wanted to play a gerbil, well, now's your chance. All right, Fallon, thank you for pulling out of the gacha pile. I very much appreciate it. There's still the $40 art commission that I will pay to an artist of your choice if you get the Silver Prize Goblin, as well as a $40 gift certificate for a box of minis that I have on the list in the Discord here. So if any of you want to pull pop boxes or pull capsules, you're welcome to do so. Well, we didn't roll a Vulpin this time, Shukan. I'm sorry. You're doing a piece for Black Wolf, Fox, and Coffee. You did 2 Vamps, a Bug Ranger, and now I'm finishing your Tremere. Oh, Derek, yeah, you've been having a good time. I'm gonna have to go and see your work here. Like a field mouse? Oh, a little bit like a field mouse. A little bit. Just a little bit. Now, before we explore what it's like to be a Jerbeen, when we're making a character, I like to look at the background of the character first. You know, a rogue is a rogue. Rogues get similar powers, and I don't want to dismiss them. They're powerful mechanics. Mechanics don't necessarily make your character. So when I create a character, I love starting with the background. This is going to tell us who he is as a Jerbeen, as, well, not as a rogue, but as a warlock. But it's fun. We have this little mouse fiend patron chain-packed warlock. And so let's build this fierce little bundle of fluff, shall we? Yeah, it is a lot like Redwall Mazamune. That is absolutely the vibe I get. Redwall, Mouse Guard. Mouse Guard would be another one. Mechanics can infer your character, Scofflaw or Swashbuckler tends towards alcohol. Especially because the Scofflaw continues to break bottles over people's heads and deals big damage for it, too. Alright, so we have a guild merchant. We're going to scroll to that. That is alphabetical. It's technically under Guild Artisan, but instead of making things, we sell things. It's on the back side of it. We're going to get in. I'm going to actually scoot this over just a little bit here. Just a little bit. Insight and Persuasion. Persuasion and Insight. One type of artisan's tools. And so our guild business is leatherworkers, skinners, and tanners. Leatherworkers, skinners, and tanners. If we weren't neutral good, or even maybe despite it, I kind of wonder how that could play into a Fiend chain lock. So our proficiency is going to be in our... well, it can be. Variant Guild Merchant. You don't craft items yourself. Buying and selling, your guild might be... rather than proficiency with artisan's tools, you might be proficient with navigator's tools or an additional language, and instead of artisan's tools, you can start with a mule and a cart. And I think that's how our party's going to get around. So because we're the merchant, we're going to do that, and so we're not going to... we're going to be a leather work... like, we're going to sell leather. Oh my. I guess it's a good thing that we don't have... you know, that we don't have, like, cow people. Because how do you... How would you do that, right? You're a leather merchant cow person? Kind of makes you wonder, you know, whose leather are you using, huh? That said, there's a picture of an owl wearing cat, like a skinned feral cat as a barbarian. Like a wild cat, like a tiger or something. So, you know, hey, whatever. Whatever works, right? And so we would give ourselves proficiency with navigator's tools. Sure, let's do that. Tools, navigator's tools, and we're going to start with a wagon and mule. And if we really wanted to, we could come down here to the final part, which are companions, and we could name our mule. That said, what would we as animal people name our mule? Why isn't our mule sentient also? But yeah, so if you want to think of some stuff for the mule or the wagon, that could be cool. So let's go back here. So we are, instead of the artisan's tools, we're going to get a language of our choice. So we're going to speak birdfolk, which is the common of the Humblewood setting. We're going to speak Jerbeen, because each of the ground races has their own language, and then we're going to take one other one. Which is probably going to be another one of the ground folk languages. We are then also going to get so instead of the artisan's tools, we took the mule and the cart. We're going to get a letter of introduction. As a certified seller of fine leather goods. Traveler's clothes. And a belt pouch containing 15 gapuz. You know, if we don't sell leather goods too, we could like go around selling the, you know, the chemicals and dyes or something that leather workers use. But just watch out. If there's ever a wagon that rolls into your village that sells bags of lime and shovels, or other curative agents. Oh. So our feature is guild membership. And this gets us, you know, economic or political access. We do have to pay a monthly upkeep to our guild, but this can really open doors or provide us with opportunities to find, you know, cheap goods and services, to hear about other opportunities, to sow or collect rumors. Guild membership is a really cool background feature. Because this is bread and butter player's handbook, I'm not going to super go into it because it's right there for you. Mule's got to be Eeyore. Jewel the mule. Whose leather are you using? Look, don't say anything rude about Mama. She was a classy girl. Imagine if they were evil, they could be selling human leather. Ooh, yes. In Humblewood, animal skins you. Animal skins you. Now, let's discover more about our warlock. How did such a good little Jerbeen fall into a pact with a fiend? And probably take an imp as a familiar. Yeah, it's not as tough. You know, we're squishy. Even bookbinding. And goodness knows how many times Derek has tried. You think I'm kidding? What is our personality? Number 6 and number 2. I like to talk at length about my profession. So we talk about, you know, leather and leather accessories. You know, remember, we're the seller. It might not mean that we don't know how. You know, we might not be super proficient at it, or we don't have the VATs on our cart required for it. But we could talk about leather, you know, oh, it's good for this. You know, it's sort of like the Bubba Gump shrimp, right? You know, about what all shrimp can go into. Oh, leather's good for everything. You know, you can use it to, you know, make armor. You know, you could use it for weapons of war like a whip. You could use it for tools of peace and love like a whip. You could use it for all sorts of stuff. Hey, Delcorin, welcome. Look, it's not my fault the neighbors keep poking into my basement. There's a video game about that. Derek, is that you? Did they model the neighbor after you? What's our other personality trait? Number 2. I'm a snob. There we go. Who looks down on those who can't appreciate fine art. Like all the uses for a writing crop. What is our ideal? Number 3. Freedom. 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 Everyone should be free to pursue his or her own livelihood. So this is very, so we have a merchant who believes in personal, you know, personal expression, who sells leather and leather goods, and has made a pact with the devil. So this is a very libertarian character here. Oh, Pneumonica. Jinx. You D&D libertarian gerbil. Gotcha. Yes. Yeah. Well, Big Sam, it's a chain pack, so we definitely have someone on a leash. So too are we, because we're a warlock. Makes me wonder who's our patron or our matron, right? Pneumonica, I guess, gets quote of the night here. D&D libertarian gerbil. Gotcha. Can one of you, I don't know if any of you can either clip this, or can one of you just do like a screen snip of Pneumonica's line there, please? I'd love to see that on Discord. That's a fun memory. Years from now, we're going to look back on this Pneumonica and we're still going to laugh, because that's amazing. Yeah, it's a contractual obligation that was entered into willingly. Done. Thank you, Shukan. What is our bond? Our bond is the workshop or a similar, because we rolled a guild, a merchant, than a creator. The workshop where I learned my trade is the most important place in the world to me. So this could actually be a tannery where we learned about the making, though we don't make it ourselves, and we went forth into the world in order to sell the skins of other animals. Drop it in table talk. That would be absolutely fine if you want, Shukan. Tales from the tabletop might be fun as well. And by the way, so all of you remember, as a dungeon master, your players make your job easier with these backgrounds because they're giving you setting pieces, they're giving you NPCs, they're giving you villain prompts, they're giving you so much content to include into the story, whether it's a pre-written adventure or it's one of your own making. And lastly, our flaws, because we are all flawed creatures. Even this good little Jerbeen. I'm never satisfied with what I have. I always want more. There's a Real Big Fish song about that. All I want is more. If any of you enjoy ska, or if you're like, ska, what, that thing in the sky? Which is the sky? Real Big Fish is a fun band to listen to, everyone. But yeah, they have a song that has that as part of the song. All I want is more. And then of course, what if we find a familiar? I'm sure there's a familiar that might have some basic shape changing. What if there's a way? What if our donkey is actually our familiar on our chain pact? We'll have to discover that. All right, now that we have our background, right? We know the personality of this character. Look, we've been having fun conceptualizing it, but we have the character's character. Sure, we don't have numbers for stats. Does that really matter? We can think about this character and make decisions on his behalf. What does he think? How would he act in a situation? You know, what are his goals? Oh yeah, we'll get to invocations in a little bit. Second things second. Now that we have our background, we're going to go back here and take a look at what do Jerbeens get by way of their race. So dexterity increases by 2, and charisma increases by 1. We are small. We have a base speed of 30 feet though, so we're quick. We're quick little doodads here. Standing leap. Your base long jump is 30 feet, and your base high jump is 15 feet, with or without a running start. So we have a standing leap. We have nimbleness. You can move through the space of any creature of a size larger than yours. Nimbleness. Take heart. You have advantage on strength saving throws. And saving throws against being frightened as long as you are within 5 feet of an ally who isn't frightened or incapacitated that you both can see and hear. So what this represents is, a dragon roars and tries to frighten you, and you sort of like clutch onto the leg of your friend, and you, 1, don't blow away in the wind because that strength save advantage, and 2, you're not frightened because you can hide behind someone's leg. Team tactics. This is the big one. You can use the help action as a bonus action. You can use the help action as a bonus action. And when we were reviewing this, I said, look, if you're not doing this every round, you're playing. This is Munchkinism, by the way. This is basic Munchkinism. If you're not doing this every round, you're literally not playing D&D correctly, and you should stop playing. Now, that was absolutely facetious, and you know I don't mean that. It was Munchkinism. Help action, provide advantage on something. Or in this case, you could cancel disadvantage. Or even impose disadvantage on an enemy attack. And so this is your little Jerbeen going, hey, did you know this? Hey, look out. Hey, that over there. Oh, I can do that too. Hey, let me help you. Hey, that's blue. And every round... Hey, 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 hey. And he's bouncing because he's a little kangaroo mouse. Hey, 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 hey. I'm a halfling and I find munchkinism offensive. Languages you can speak, read, and write: Birdfolk and Jerbeen, and of course we float one. We're floating one from our merchant background. That said, we seem to be aligning around. I mean, obviously everyone has Birdfolk. That's common. But maybe someone who can speak Hedge, as our hedgehog is almost a living, although she's towards the end of her life, a living saint among people, as despite even being one of the humble folk, one of the ground-based races, she is wind-touched, and so she is the blessings of the wind. And we were saying that they, like, flow through her quills, and they resonate, and, you know, so they have holes in them, and so, like, she just creates music, and so even bird folk see her as wind-touched. And the fact that she's a cleric also is wombo combo, that she's just like a traveling saint. With all those hay lines, I now imagine Jerbeen. Hey, listen! Yeah. Drive the cart. Alright, so that's what we get for being a Jerbeen. So let's fill this in. So we can speak Hedge. Alright, we have our background. We have our race. And now it's time to go back to Warlock. And we need to make a deal with the devil with this little Jerbeen, my friends. We're generating a level 12 character, as that's just the level that we're making all of our Humblewood folk. So this is what we're looking at. We have a +4 proficiency. I'm going to scoot this over in just a second here. A +4 proficiency. We know 4 cantrips. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Spells known we'll get to. Spell slots. We have 3 that are at 5th level. And then zeros all behind. There we go. And we're going to get invocations. So we get 2 at level 2. So I'm going to put this here, level 2, level 2. We get a third one at level 5, level 5. We get a fourth one at level 7. We get a 5th one at 10th level. And we get a 6th one at level 12, which is what our character's at. Now, I label these kind of like the spells at the end of the character to help keep track of when you got them. Though, of course, you can swap invocations as a warlock along the path on level up and, you know, talk to your DM, etc. and so forth. The Fiend is named Ozzy. It's a headless bat. Alright, as a warlock, we're a D8 hit die class, and we get 12 of those D8s because we're level 12. And that represents our natural ability to recover during rests. We also are going to be getting light armor proficiency, simple weapon proficiency, no tool proficiencies. Wisdom and charisma are going to be our saving throw proficiencies. We're going to get 2 skills from Arcana, Deception, History, Intimidation, Investigation, Nature, and Religion. Let's see. If we're selling... If our job is to, you know, buy, sell, and trade leather goods, I want to say Investigation and Nature would be pretty big here. Because we're not necessarily deceptive. You know, Arcana isn't necessarily our bag. Unless for some reason we specialize in, you know, like, magical beasts. But I think investigation and nature would help in the commercial aspects of this character. Let's take a look at the personality just in case. I like to talk at length about my profession. I think that would go into it. I'm a snob who looks down on those who can't appreciate fine art. So understanding the grain of a leather, the thickness of it, the sources of it. Everyone should be free. The workshop I learned, I'm never satisfied with what I have. I always want more. So we're always thinking. We're thinking about this. We already have insight, which also would have been a contender, but we have it. And persuasion, buy my goods. Now, if you have other recommendations, hey, throw them out there. That's fine. This is our character, not my character. Always value the thickness of leather. That's right. It's it's the 2 C's. I am not going to worry about I'm not going to worry about the equipment. It's a standard loadout because we're doing this workshop and we're going to other sources. Whether or not he has a crossbow or a club or whatever may not really make too huge a difference when we're trying to work in this Humblewood content. Magic we're going to get to. That's one of the last things that we actually do. Invocations, we are going to choose those in a little bit here. Pact Boon, we have a Pact of the Chain. You've learned the Find Familiar spell and can cast it as a ritual. This spell doesn't count against your number of spells known. When you cast the spell, you can choose one of the normal forms for your familiar or one of the following forms. An imp, a pseudo-dragon, a quasit, or a sprite. Additionally, when you take the attack action, you can forego one of your own attacks to allow your familiar to make one attack of its own. So in that case, do we want a normal animal, or would we want something a little bit more supernatural like an imp, a pseudo-dragon, a quasit, or a sprite? Now, we can say sprite, but I mean, we are a fiend pact. But let's add this down here. I think Find Familiar is 2nd level. Pact of the Chain, Find Familiar. And let's see, we had 3 5th level slots. So 0, 0, 0, and 0. Why not a black cat with 2 tails or a skeleton cat? I mean, if you want to reflavor something, absolutely. Do you like the stats of a quasit, but you want to call it a skeletal cat? Your DM might say, well, I'd have to treat it as undead just in case, because when you have your cleric nuke all undead of CR2 or lesser, you better believe that a skeletal cat is going to fall into that line. She's going to look over, oh, I'm sorry about mittens. Oh, what is that, the 2nd time today I've done that? Oh, it's a 1st level? Well, I don't know. I'd have to double check. All right. ASI, and we get a Mystic Arcanum, by the way, at 11th level. So that is how we get a Mystic Arcanum, and we get a 6th level spell. And this is once per long rest instead of a spell slot. We're not an Eldritch Master. So this is what we get for being a basic warlock. Now, let's take a look at the Fiend. You have made a pact with a Fiend from the lower planes of existence, a being whose aims are evil, even if you strive against them. Such beings desire the corruption or destruction of all things, ultimately including you. Fiends powerful enough to forge a pact include demon lords, such as Demogorgon, Orcus, Fraz Urblu, and Baphomet. Archdevils such as Asmodeus, Dispater, Mephistopheles, and Belial. Pit fiends and Balors that are typically mighty, and Ultraloths and other lords of the Yugoloths. That being said, I don't know. You could say your pact is with a powerful succubus. Or, I mean, even you could say an imp, at least as far as you know, because your patron might have manifested as this simple little imp, but is actually more powerful. You could say it's an Arenyes. These are certainly big common examples, though. Don't be afraid to, don't be afraid to look at it as, your patron might honestly just be your middleman, your link to the energy of the hells or the abyss, if you prefer. Such that, if you get an auto insurance policy and get into a wreck, you talk to your insurance agent who provides you the money on the claim. It didn't come out of your insurance agent's pocket. They simply fetched it from the source and delivered it to you as per the agreement. So the patron here could simply be that medium through which you access the powers. And so in this case, choose your medium. If you want it to be direct from the source, I am sure that the CEO of State Farm would happily sell you an auto policy. Not it's coming out of his pocket per se, but you get what I'm saying. So you go for the big cheese, or you go for the new agent out of college who's, just trying to start a business. They're both providing you access the same way to the powers. It could be a succubus or an incubus. That's an option. I'm Baphomet, registered field agent from the Armageddon, and Jehoshaphat Talent Agency. Yeah, just a nice... actually... So I keep some business cards here. Oop. I keep some business cards in my wallet, because I run across people, and it's always good to... here we go. So one of the business cards I have, just in case, because you never know when you need to call. It's good to have favors, especially if they're owed to you. I mean, oh sheeps, if... This is a Little Caesar's pizza. I'm enjoying its presence. Yeah, New Monica, you're correct, and also lol at Game Master's Vault. Deal from a Crossroads demon that brought the group together to spread its master's influence through music. Big Sam? We were also talking about... We were talking about forming a junkyard band earlier. For anyone who's there, you know what this means? Do you know what this means? We have a 4-person, country band. We have the Soggy Bottom Boys. One of the members even sold their soul. I've seen trouble all my life. Anyway. That's one of those songs that you just belt to on a summer day driving in the car. Oh, you can't sing Man of Constant Sorrow. You have to just belt it out. If you don't, you can't whisper that song. You can't kind of hum along. You gotta put your heart and soul into Man of Constant Sorrow. You've never heard of it, Shukan? Shukan. Alright. When we finish this character, I am going to play for you the song that may very well epitomize our Humblewood party, okay? So don't spoil yourself. Don't go looking it up. If any of you don't know what I'm talking about, don't look it up. I will play it for you, okay? Alright? Hold tight. We're getting there. All right, so we have the Dark One's Blessing. Starting first level, when you reduce a hostile creature to 0 hit points, you gain temporary hit points. Also, the Dark One's Own Luck. Starting at 6th level, you can call on your patron to alter fate in your favor. When you make an ability check or a saving throw, you can use this feature to add a d10 to your roll. You can do so after seeing the initial roll, but before any of the roll's effects occur. Also, we get Fiendish Resilience. You can choose one damage type when you finish a short or long rest. You gain resistance to that type of damage until you choose a different feature. Damage from magical weapons or silver weapons ignore this resistance. And we don't get Hurl Through Hell, though this is a fun ability. Now, we also have expanded spells. These are not like Domain, Oath, or Circle spells. You do not just get these. These can be taken for the spells that you already have access to. That you add them to the list of spells that you could take in your fixed number of spells as a warlock. I hope that makes sense. And if it doesn't, just rewind this and listen to it again. Or read the player's handbook. Oh, leave nobody but the babe. Yep. Down to the River's another good one. Although I'll tell you that first song, Poe Lazarus. Oh, nothing stirs the soul like the story of Poe Lazarus, oh sheeps. The Hedge Cleric wouldn't appreciate it, but she doesn't have to know it first. With her blessing causing the wind to blow through her quills, she could be the lead singer like a hairband with wind effects. Ah, Big Sam, you're coming up with some good stuff here. Okay. Now we need to choose some invocations. Now, here's the question. What would be a representation of our character's personality? Many of us might be tempted to say, well, you know, this one is super good, or things along those lines, or every warlock has to take this one because of some reason or another. Look, we're creating a character. Let's focus on the character. What would he take? Because it's an extension of him. That is, it's fueled by his patron. Well, let's see. There is one that is custom, I think, for a chain lock here. It's not Life Drinker. Voice of the Chainmaster. You can communicate telepathically with your familiar and perceive through your familiar's senses as long as you are on the same plane of existence. Additionally, while perceiving through your familiar's senses, you can also speak through your familiar in your own voice, even if your familiar is normally incapable of speech. Wouldn't that be fun? You throw your senses out to the mule or something like that? Or, you're on watch to make sure no one steals your donkey like a bandit at night or something. And, someone sneaks up, and of course you have the Jerbeen, who's ever vigilant here, is acting like a warg in Game of Thrones, and sees through the donkey's eyes and just sort of looks back like, try it. Excellent. I'm glad that you are percolating, Big Sam. Yeah, in Donkey's voice, exactly. I think that could be a fun one. Absolutely. So let's give Voice of the Chainmaster. Of course, we're considering if the donkey is actually the familiar. But I don't know. We'll see. That'd be kind of fun or interesting otherwise. The hype man familiar out drumming up the locals. Or that too, yeah. So it's like the genie in Disney's version of Aladdin with the Prince Ali song. Hey, clear the way in the old bazaar. Hey, you move on through. It's a brand new star. Come take a look. No, wait, no. Ah, shoot! I messed it up, and I really like Aladdin too. I've failed you, Aladdin. I'm sorry. My arguably favorite Disney movie, possibly Lion King tying before everything kind of went downhill, in my opinion. Anyway, we have some more invocations to pick out. So what else do we have here? We have talk at length about my profession. I'm a snob who looks down on those who can't appreciate fine art. Everyone should be free to pursue their own livelihood. I think Mask of Many Faces could do that, right? I am free to dress however I want. I may be a male Jerbeen, but you know what? Sometimes wearing a bright pink sundress, or even a white sundress past Labor Day is just absolutely taboo and freeing. And so something like Mask of Many Faces, I think could do well for someone who values freedom. Yep. I'm sorry, oh sheeps. I had to go there. I know I try and keep this PG-13, but it just had to be said. What else? I'm never satisfied with what I have. I always want more. And I talk at length about my profession. You know, beast speech might be good too, for this type of a warlock. So I can speak with animals, and I can also speak through at least my familiar. Beast speech might be a fun one. We're not 15th level, so we can't really worry about the chains of Carceri. Devil's Sight could be a good one. You can see normally in darkness, both magical and non-magical. Because we do not get dark vision as a Jerbeen. That could be good. Cast Confusion. See, we're not really a deceiver, but we can look down on people who aren't as haughty-taughty about leather and leather accessories as us. Eldritch Sight might be good for evaluating magical things. Let's give Eldritch Sight to this character. Oh, Sculptor of Flesh. What lovely leather. I'd love to see it on you. Sculptor of Flesh, absolutely. And let's see, what else? For defensive purposes, one with shadows might actually work pretty well. Or no, Eyes of the Runekeeper. You can read all writing. That way we can sell to a lot of different people, even if it's through maybe a written word. I think that one might be better for our merchant friend here. We can also express our distaste in our journals. Eyes of the Runekeeper. There we go. I do declare. Sight is functional, great in roleplay for negotiating to always come out ahead. You can read all writing. That doesn't mean you can... No, but, so you write stuff out, or you could, like, make drawings and, like, have people, like, draw an arrow and in their own native script describe stuff on paper, and you can read their writing. Because, look, oh sheeps, let's say that our fiendish patron is a succubus. Who would tempt a male Jerbeen to wear a white sundress past Labor Day. For the absolutely freeing experience it could offer. All right, now, the backstory of this character would be super interesting to write out even more. All right, so we know 4 cantrips: Eins, zwei, drei und vier. And as you see, spells known, we get 2 at level 1. Then we know a 3rd one at level 2, etc. and so forth. So once more, level 1. We get 2. At level 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because by 10th level, you see that by 10th level, we have our... well, actually, by 9th level, we have our 10th spell. Our 11th spell is technically our Mystic Arcanum. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9... Oh, 10. Boop. So, whoops. Numbers, what are they even? 3, 4. Now, you can swap your spells around when you level up. Again, talk to your DM about that. And then at 9, we get this one. And then level 10 is a Mystic Arcanum that we want to take. Correct. It's just a... It's like comprehend languages. You literally get the literal meaning of the words. You don't get metaphors. Like, you don't understand the metaphor. You would simply understand that someone replied to your question with, as rain. Huh? It's not raining. As rain. Darmok and Jalad et Tanagra. Oh, Sheeps has it literally. Shaka, when the walls fell. Temba, his arms wide. Delcorin, yeah, we got it. Sync, Jinx now. Fade to black. Alright, so we have our spells, and look, you have the expanded spell list through your Fiendish Patron. You can always pop down here, chapter 11, and you go over to Warlock, and wouldn't you know it, there's some Warlock spells that you can pick out. And I want to urge you, all of your spells are going to tell the tale of your character. In many instances, in fact, I would challenge you, have a friend of yours give you a character of his or hers, whether they just make one up or it's one that they're running that you don't know about. Take a look at the spell list and see if you can guess aspects of the adventure or the personality of the caster. See what you could glean about the caster from the spells that are kept on his or her sheet. It's a fun challenge, and you might be surprised at what you can learn. The hive mind is strong tonight, oh sheeps. My mind's reaching out, touching yours, touching mine. Sweet hive mind, dun dun dun. Anyway, it is now time to drop some numbers into these bubbles. We have the chassis of the character. Now we need we got to put the Hemi in it. Oh, yeah, so that's a bit of a mix, Delcorin. Well, thank you for hanging out with us all the same. GM Vault, I promise I will not take up. I will not take up singing publicly. You can't control me when I'm driving, though. Feeble grams. All right. So what are we putting? What are we putting our standard array in here? I think we have a very charismatic Jerbeen. I have absolutely no guilt aside from, well, it's a warlock. You gotta max your charisma or else. Because you don't have to. You can run a warlock with low charisma, absolutely. So we have, I think our 15 should go here. We have a very keen Jerbeen. A keen, that almost sounds like a not a superhero name, but you know, like, kind of like a sidekick. Keen Jerbeen. I talk at length about my profession, and I'm a snob. I think we have a 15. We have a 15, 14, 13, 13, 12. I don't think we're going to have a very strong... I don't think we're going to have a very strong group here. Our fighter has strength, and that's about it. 10 con. Or you know what we'll do? I'll tell you what, everyone. We're going to be abnormal, and we're going to say maybe something happened in the deal where our little Jerbeen, you know, we have average strength, but maybe something happened. Our Jerbeen caught a little bit of a cold in the pact. You know, we have this weak little Jerbeen. Maybe in a moment near death, the Jerbeen cried out, and the patron showed up and forged a pact to help preserve the life of the Jerbeen. And hey, GM Vault, thank you very much. Oh, whoa. So we are going to be absolute mad lads and give a nice -1 in Constitution to our character here. Because I think this will make for excellent storytelling. And I would also challenge you all out there. Have you ever played a low Constitution character? Not just low as in I only get +1 every level or 0 every level. Have you played something like this? Aha. So we're going to add our racials in. So we get 14 dex and 16 charisma. And now we get 3 stat bumps. So we're going to add 6 points amongst all that we have here. I think for sure we're going to bring, I think charisma, like absolutely redline charisma to 20. We have this charismatic, if not frail, Jerbeen. Now, we have 2 points left over. There's a couple options. I could argue, I think a 16 intelligence would absolutely serve this character well. If you're the type of person who just gets a little itchy seeing an odd number in your ability score, I can recommend this. Bring that up to 14, and if you don't want to put it to 15, if you're ever stuck with a spare 1, drop it into strength, because you get a mechanical benefit from your strength score, not just your strength mod. Because now he can push, pull, drag, lift, etc. a little bit more. So after this, we have 0 strength, 2 dex, -1 con, 2 int, 2 wisdom, and 5 charisma. A fighter cleric with a 9 charisma. How did you roleplay that, Diadems? Our initiative is a +2 because that's a dex check. I didn't take the dark vision, so we have 0 dark vision. Passive I guess we're going to get to that. So strength is 0, 0. Dex is 2 down the line. Whoops, those are 3s. I can count. Our saving throw is -1 on con. Intelligence is 2 down the line. I would also argue an invocation then he might take his fiendish vigor to help give him some temporary hit points. But it's your character. You want to download this character and put fiendish vigor on there as an invocation? Take out beast speech, sure. You know, if arguably we can already talk to animals, then we can do that. It's whatevers. This is a journey, right? We can play with these figures. Wisdom saving throw is 6. Our charisma is actually a 9. Ooh, loady load. 6 on insight, 2 and everything else. And charisma is also a 9 persuasion and 5 across the way here. Now our passive perception is 12, as that's our perception modifier plus 10. Armor class, I mean, if we took leather from, why wouldn't we? From the starting package, that's 11 plus dex of 2, so that's 13. Current hit points, we get 8 at level 1. Then for the remaining 11 levels of our 12, we get half plus 1 hit points. Whoops. And then we get all 12 levels of bonus hit points equal to our Constitution modifier. So in this case, we're actually going to be subtracting 12 hit points. So we have 63 minus 12. We have 51 hit points at 51 hit points at level 12. Your weapon, I mean, maybe we're firing a crossbow. I think for sure he's going to rely more on the magic he's been given because he's not very physically blessed. You know, dex weapon is 2 plus proficiency or a finesse. If it's a strength weapon or like a melee weapon or a thrown weapon, it'd be 4. We go from there. Now, if we're attacking with our spells, that's going to be 5 plus 4, so we're going to be hitting with a plus 9. Then to resist the effects of our spells is a 17 because you simply add 8 to the attack. It's the standard floating formula. 8 plus ability modifier plus proficiency bonus. By the way, this Jerbeen has earned a name. If any of you have a name in mind, then throw them out there. We should... we have a very interesting character here. Thankfully, I haven't had much undead to deal with. Worked into the -1 into the backstory. Mr. Tiggy Winkles, Reepadore? No concentration spells are going to stick, says Big Sam. If you were in those gifted classes after all, so I hope you can count. Hopefully I can. Otherwise, it's just one big illusion. I don't get the reference then if it's to something, Pneumonica. Theodore Van Hoosen McGruben. Delcorin, you have a full stack of pancakes from IHOP and a free full stack of their cheesecake pancakes. Oh my goodness. That is ultimate comfort food. Refry says the Keen Bean. Oh, Chronicles of Narnia. Okay. Or, I'm sorry, the Chronicles of Narnia. So we have a couple... So we have some names here. We had Reepadore, Mr. Tiggy Winkles, Theodore Van Hoosen McGruben. Sir. Well, whether or not this person is classy, he carries himself as such because he looks down on people who don't appreciate fine art. So in this case, I think we would have a... Reepadore Von Winkle. Sir Reepadore von Winkle? How about that? You may call me Sir Reepadore Van Winkle. Preeminent leather salesman in all of the Humblewood. I buy, sell, and trade leather and leather goods. And this here's my little friend. And so we can name the donkey. And this here's my friend. Let's see, we have Grubin and Tiggy. Tuggy. Tuggy the donkey, because that's what it does to the cart. McTuggy. It sounds like the Grand Nagus. Quark! Did you finish your contract for the Viridian berries? Quark! Summon an ear cleaner. Quark! The humans are distressing me. We have a finished character, everyone. Quark, you know I have the inside scoop on the next trade route. This Dominion War is gonna be It's gonna be an economic boon for us. Females. Then under his breath at the end of the demonic tone, all praise my dark master, may he reign over all. What? I didn't say anything. Yeah, tee-hee, I'm an innocent little mouse. I'm Sir Reepadore Van Winkle. Oh, hail the succubus. All right. This is silly. This is absolutely silly, but thank you all for for putting up with it. My goodness. My good golly gracious. So we have built a we have built a Jerbeen. This is silly. I'm gonna get up and take just like a 5-minute break. I'm gonna get something to drink, and Shukan, when we come back, I will play for you the song of our party, as we have inadvertently created the Humblewood version of the Soggy Bottom Boys, and this is going to be their song that they're going to cry out over the Humblewood as they roll around on this wagon, piloted by Sir Reepadore Van Winkle, and pulled by McTuggy and all of the others. My goodness. Quark, get your mother in line. She's wearing clothes. Again! Quark! I gotta get up and take a walk. Females.